You get into a diet because you couldn't do what was normal. And normal went away. It led to certain things, and now you need to have a certain diet to get back. But they never give normal a chance again. Yeah. It has to be some sort of a strategy, some sort of I'm going to, But normal is like, why do normal, right? Yeah. In my case, I'm still doing normal, which is a well balanced diet, a sustainable diet. It doesn't stress me out. Yeah. That I ate this bit more or that bit more, or I just eat a very balanced diet, and it's easy to sustain. And I always believe one thing: anything that is sustainable gives results over a longer period of time.
I am Baiki Winky, and this is the Working Athlete Podcast. Here, I talk to working athletes from all walks of life and experts from various sports to provide you with inspiration, training tips, time management, and lifestyle advice. If this is something that interests you, please make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any future episodes. Today's guest, Rajesh Nair, also known as BabaVelo, has been a long-time friend, teammate, and a mentor. With his phenomenal consistency over the years, he has inspired many in cycling and continues to do so. From the time I first met him back in 2011 till now, he has been a source of much learning for me personally. I met him in Dubai again recently at Spinney's Dubai Cycling Challenge and had a wonderful time. He has done exceptionally well in the race and has qualified for the UCI Granfondo finals for maybe like fifth time. And I was fortunate enough to sit down for a chat with him after the race and talk to him about the race, his cycling journey, and his views on various topics related to cycling. I had super fun with this. I hope you will too. With that, let us get into my conversation with Rajesh Nair. Hi Raj, welcome to the Working Athlete Podcast. It's a pleasure having you on the show.
You finally managed to get me.
Yes.
To come all the way.
I've been after you for a long time.
I was in hiding. I had no place to hide in Dubai. Anyway, thanks a lot.
Yeah. Great. Thank you for agreeing to do this.
Enjoying this.
Raj, let us start by, since we are here in Dubai and we just finished the race in Dubai, Spinneys92.
Yeah.
And you did fantastic. You finished fifth in the category.
Yeah.
And 21st overall.
Overall, yeah.
Wow. That, I mean, in a field of 900.
899.
Oh.
900, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That is something, right?
Yeah.
Raj, you've been a awesome inspiration for a long time now. Not just inspiration, you've been a mentor, a guide, and a friend like none other.
All right, now you're embarrassing me.
No. It is the truth. And I will get into that. But let us start by talking about Spinneys92, today's race, and your race experience with Spinneys.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed this race. It's not. It doesn't fit my characteristics. I rather have. So it's a bit of a challenge. Try to put yourself in a race that doesn't suit you, right? So that's a challenge.
It's a flat as pancake while you are skinny climber.
Yeah, and now these days everybody knows, the skinny climbers climb, and and the big guys are good with the wind and flats, and so this is a hard race for me. It's a hard race, and it's so fast that it gets over before you know. So it requires more than the legs. It requires just mental focus to be there for 2 hours and just keep telling yourself that be awake, because anything can happen anytime. So that's the race. The race isn't about the legs. I mean, the legs was hardly, in terms of numbers, you see the watts, it's nothing, So it just it's a mind that is more tired than the legs. Then we don't have then races like this in Europe, shutting down half of Dubai.
Yeah.
We don't do that anymore, Those are back in the days. So, and it's a great place, 1,000 people. Yeah, so it really is a unique experience even for someone like me who's used to racing more in Europe, right? And I think it applies not just to me, even for the pros now. The Cavendish is training in Abu Dhabi, and now we got the UAE tour and the Oman, and there's so much going on. Even people who have raced all their lives are now being attracted to the Emirates and Saudi, and the Saudi tour was there. And it's a new world of discovering a new world for cycling. So it's fun. I'm glad I can come here and do
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
awesome. So you've done this a few times, huh?
3 times now.
Three
So
times.
today's the third time I've done it. Uh, yeah, and it's always hard.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's what makes you come back to this race?
Well, I mean, the first thing is a qualifier, and for the World Championships,
Right.
for the Masters, I enjoy riding the World Championships. I really enjoy it, and somehow, and this is one of the first qualifiers for us for the European season, because Bintan, for instance, or Australia, they've already done it but that's in dead winter for us. So just now that we are waking up in our season, this presents itself. So it's a perfect place to just come out and try the legs, and it isn't as difficult as some of the European races. So you still know you can hang in there. So there's a lot of appeal to it that I think is fun.
Also the proximity.
Yeah, I mean, traveling is fun. It's not. It's very easy to get here, and then I always stay back after the race, like and train a bit and do other things. So it's a nice week-long break. Particularly when it's really cold in Europe now. I mean,
Right.
it was very cold. So this is like I've not done this since few months now.
Right.
Sitting in a t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, yeah, I love it. Yeah, yeah. I wish, uh, you know, I could do more
Right.
because apparently there's a race almost every weekend. So I'm almost thinking that I may end up picking more events.
Right.
There's so much going on.
Yeah.
It's quite something.
Amazing, amazing. So Raj, now that we talked about the recent race, let us start, let us take a step back and, go back a little bit and talk about how and when you got into cycling.
Well, I'm 49. Uh, from I've always been on a bike, in some form. Always been fascinated by bike, and riding it. Not commute or whatever. I just always enjoyed riding a bike. That's the way I do now. Then of course, things change. Life takes you different ways, and finally it was my wife who actually got me back. I'm moving to Italy. Italy is the heartland of cycling, the cradle of cycling. So obviously I had to get back to it, and my family is a lot of very good cyclists. So it was a lot of it was helped me to really get back to it, and then compete and take part in competitions, and even today, like, you know it's as it was 25, 30 years ago. So
Yeah.
I've been around for a long time. Yeah.
So, how old were you when you picked up a bike again in Italy?
I'm 49, 29, 20, 25.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been 25 years. Yeah, yeah.
Wow, wow.
Yeah.
That is a long
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, but it took me a while to get to racing. I was
Right.
riding, but it's my wife who got me into racing, because she's the one with triathlons and competing, and I never even thought about competing. It is just she was the one who got me registered, and
Rosanna,
Rosanna, yeah, she's the one who just
she's amazing. Yeah.
yeah. The competing part is her a bad idea. She's the one who got him into it. And even now, like, I'm almost telling her what happened and all the details, and she likes to know everything.
Yeah.
So she's a big part of my cycling life. Yeah, not
Right.
just.
When was this? Which year was your first race and stuff?
Oh, so let's say I'm for numbers.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've done hundreds and hundreds of races. So because we used to race, now I've slowed down. Now I'm more selective about races. But there was a time in my life I was doing 30 races a year. That's 30 Sundays in a 52
Yeah,
week year,
right.
and we don't race over the winter, right? So as soon as it gets warm, we're doing 30 races, and Saturday, Sunday, traveling all over Italy. We sleep in cars and go out and race, and it's amazing. Yeah, yeah. It's been a big part. Yeah.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. The first time I saw you in action, though, was in 2011
That's
TFN.
already time back, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
already 12 years ago. See,
Yeah,
there you go. See,
see.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, before TFN, you came to Bangalore a few days before TFN.
Yeah, yeah.
And, being part of Spectrum, you were like riding with Mohan. Mark was here along with you.
Yeah,
And, on Shivas Road, we were riding. And on one of those days, I joined you guys.
yeah.
And I still remember that, ride where towards the end, when we were riding, you guys were chatting and I was like hanging on to your wheel and all that. Suddenly, towards the end, I think the last 5 kilometers or so, you put down the hammer
Yeah, I
and
remember that. Yeah, yeah.
and Mohan was following your
Yeah,
wheel,
more is following.
and
Yeah.
I was hanging on to my dear life.
Yeah, younger days, huh?
Yeah.
We can't do that today, I guess. Yeah.
I was on my fixie, and I was like, "Oh my God, it is etched into my
Yeah, yeah,
memory."
yeah,
And
yeah. I remember that. That was a good day. That was a
yeah,
good day. We had fun that day. Yeah.
it was. And then uh, saw you in action in TFN
Yeah.
after that, and I was like mind blown by you know, by the way you conducted yourself, the way you raced. Uh, Mark Anderson was,
Yeah. He was
you
there.
and him.
Mysore. He was from Mysore, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I
So
remember
he
that.
used to live in Mysore,
Yeah.
and he was there, and you guys were competing for the top spot.
Yeah. One day I would win, the next day he would win,
He
and
would
I would
win.
win, and then he would win, and
Yeah, yeah.
then it came down to one stage.
It came down to one
Ooty.
stage, the Ooty,
Yeah,
the
Ooty. Yeah.
Queen stage.
Yeah.
It was the Gudalur side
Yeah, yeah.
at that time. And
That's true.
right before, I mean, on the way to that, you crashed.
Hmm.
The tubular kind of
That
rolled off the
rolled off
wheel,
my back wheel. Yeah.
rolled off the wheel, and you were bleeding all
Yeah,
over.
yeah, yeah. Hurt
You
myself.
had
Yeah.
bandages.
Yeah.
Arvind was
Arvind
there,
always, always, yeah.
yeah,
Arvind
stitched you
always has
up
multiple
and
tasks with the team.
correct, correct. So he bandaged you and all that. You had your leg
Yeah,
lacerations
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that.
My knee.
And whoever saw you that day,
Yeah,
at that point of time, would have thought it's done. You know, Raj is done.
yeah.
The race is over for him, and it would be Mark. But know what happened? You can tell me how.
Yeah, it's funny because I've thought about it
Yeah,
sometime, few times. If I didn't crash that day,
yeah.
I wouldn't have won. I would have lost that
You
race.
think so?
Yeah, yeah, because he had a decent time gap on me.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
and then it's always hard. I mean, when you're that much, and he was starting behind me, like so. Basically, I was starting before him. But that crash, when you crash, sometimes you just don't feel anything anymore. Your head is in a different, just the whole adrenaline flow. You don't feel pain anymore. It's one of those things. And I think so. That's what happened. And when I was at the start line for the time trial, I was pumped up. I was still hurting from the crash, and then you don't feel anything. You just go all out, and that was it. And then I knew that and I knew he was behind me, so I kept looking behind. I couldn't see him.
Yeah.
And then that was it. And then I just went. I think I can't remember the time, but I think he had 3-4 minutes on me.
Yeah.
I took that off and I gave another 4-5 minutes.
Yeah.
I think I eventually won by 4-5 minutes.
Correct,
Eventually the 10-minute line.
Yeah.
But that crash made a difference. I mean, not that it's, but
Yeah.
sometimes it's luck, right? This case, bad luck turned to luck, and it worked out very well. But what is funny is that we were talking earlier with my friend, and a lot of misfortunes have actually turned into good fortune for me. Like all the races that I've won, some of the big, I've had a flat. And I've actually won 2 big races on a flat tire.
Kind of fuels you.
It just gives you that extra bit. I don't know. Maybe it's a mental thing. I don't know. But whatever. Or maybe I just use the setbacks
Right.
to just give you that extra edge. You don't want it, but somehow you know.
Yeah, that's a great way to, great attitude. Anyone or most people
Yeah.
will tend to see it as see any setback as
Yeah.
and ask why me.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
uh,
it's true.
if you look at yourself as a victim, then you can't really do anything. So you tend to turn that into a positivity and maybe give an extra bit. I guess,
Yeah, I guess so. But at the time, it's all instinctive, right?
Yeah.
You're not planning or you're not
Right.
thinking about these things,
Right.
I mean,
Right.
and who the hell writes hoping for a flat, I mean, you don't, right?
Yeah.
But then you try to make the best of the situation, and
Right.
in these cases, it worked out. So
Yeah.
so I enjoyed, and
Excellent.
yeah,
Yeah, excellent. So the talking of TFN and the 2011, that was my first year,
yeah, I remember that.
and I mean, seeing you, Mark, and others, like I learned so much, just observing the way you prepare, the way you race, and you used to give us tips as to who needs to start behind who to kind of help each other, motivate each
Yeah, yeah,
other, and pay. It was invaluable to kind of that whole experience was invaluable for me, and from there on, like
yeah,
you've been part of Team Spectrum and have been kind of mentor for from a distance for a lot of us over the years. But coming to your racing experience, right? You have done GDD plenty of
ten
time,
times, yeah,
10 times,
10 times, yeah.
and you were one of the founding members of TFN
Also,
itself,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So how do you see, riding and cycling in India versus, how it is coming up?
I mean, when it comes to India, it frustrates me a little bit. It frustrates me because I think the reason is that I'm one of those people. I get if I didn't care about something, I just walk away.
Yeah,
I don't say much, and I do it. When I say something about some event or people or whatever, it just means I actually care a lot. So I'm one of those people. I don't believe in investing myself in things I don't care about, right? And India is one of those places where, after all, you know, and I've been once in the last 10 years, but it's, there is still, I follow everything about it, in every detail, all the events. And so I've seen the growth, but when I say it frustrates me, what I mean to say is that because I also live in other places, I have seen other places with less resources coming a longer way than India, which has got far more potential, far more of everything, And look at Uzbekistan. I live in Uzbekistan now. 3 years ago, when I was in Uzbekistan, there was even a rider on Strava. I couldn't even draw a route on Strava, right? 3 years later, they have a professional team
yeah,
in Tashkent, right, of kids racing in Dubai, Sharjah, Turkey, Portugal, and these are kids. I would give them my helmets, my shoes, my garment, and now they write to me and say, I'm going to Dubai to race, and professional races.
yeah.
The triathlon has become a massive thing now. This year they have multiple distance triathlon events. They took a silver medal at the WTO World Championship here. I was here with them as one of the coaches. So what I mean to say is that when you see all that, right, it hurts me to see that, India isn't doing that. I mean,
Yeah.
you may feel that you're making progress, but somehow in my mind, I think that given how much time has gone, we should be much further ahead. I mean, we should already be having teams. And
Right.
I mean, also because we look at other Asian countries, right? Like in mostly in Southeast Asia and in Pacific Asia, they already have tours. Look at the Bintan. Take the Bintan tour, for
Yeah.
example, right? Bintan is an established tour on the calendar of the UCI,
Right.
And of course, we have Goa now as
Yeah.
Ironman. But from the cycling perspective, I don't know. I think by now we should have had all that,
More events,
much more
more.
events and much more, So it frustrates me, And but there isn't much I can do because, like from where I live and
Yeah.
my own thing. But Coming back to keep it short, yeah, that's what it is. I feel that we could do much more.
Could do much more.
Much
There,
more.
I mean, like I would say that there is a progress. There is a rate of progress. What you're saying is the rate of progress is much slower than what
Much
we would
slower.
like.
It's much slower, and like even importing a tire is a big deal. I mean,
Tell me
like,
about
what I'm
it.
saying, right? That is the basic. I mean, like.
Yeah. Now we
How do
basically
you
have to
support a sport?
smuggle
Yeah,
tires,
yeah. Like, how do you grow a sport where you have to smuggle tires? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I struggle.
Yeah.
you know,
True.
I mean, I understand the frustrations, but it's like it amuses me a bit. Like
Yeah.
all that should have been a thing of the past.
Correct. Correct.
Well,
So coming back to you, Raj, what is your typical, season like and, training like?
I mean, like, so we already mentioned that I've been riding for a long time, right? Uh, what keeps me? I mean, I need to race, and the reason I race is it's not to win as per se. Who wouldn't want to win?
Yeah.
That's a given, right?
Yeah.
But I can't see myself just riding a bike to feel the wind. It's not in me. I like to really ride a bike. So a goal like a race makes my life very disciplined. It brings discipline in my life. It gives me structure. It it keeps me in balance. It tells me what I can do, what I cannot do. So it's not the race as much. It's more what it brings to my life, right? So I enjoy having all these events, even if it's like taking an event now and then a cup. I mean, if you're actually racing, if you want to be good, you should be racing every weekend. Because racing, you can't just pick up a race and do good. Racing is, bike racing isn't triathlon, where you peak for one event and you're against yourself. In some bike racing, you're racing with everybody else, right? So if you're up against someone who races every single week, you just don't have the legs to match that, and you can train all you want. It's racing that finally puts the cream of the desert, right?
Correct.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's your top end, right? So now when I'm kind of slowing down a little bit, getting more choosy about the events that I want to do. Mostly also because I'm not currently living full time in Europe, so I can't pick up travel all the time for a race. In that all itself is a logistical nightmare and brings a lot of tiredness, whatever. So for example, now I did Dubai. Dubai came with a very specific goal. I achieved it. 2 weeks from now, I'm doing Strade Bianche. Now, Strade Bianche is going to be one of those events that I want to tick mark.
Right.
I have absolutely no goal for it. Like, what I'm going to do there. 6,000 people. Like,
It will be an amazing experience.
yeah. It's one of those events like, bucket list events that, let me do this. Then I'm going to Thailand in April, May. That will be event that I would like to do well because I've done it in the past. So I will have some
Tour of
goals.
Friendship?
A tour of friendship, 5 days. So that'll be fun. So that I will try to be in good shape. We are racing ETOP in France. That's one of the two stages that we do. That's a big race.
Right.
We saw it last year. We were there and blew my mind. So
You and Mohan sir also signed up, I guess.
Russell, myself, Mohan, we're all signed up. Yeah. So we're all going to go. It's going to be a very hard race. It's a proper road race, Tour de France stage, same course, same everything. So, and the level is going to be like out of the world. So again, that race you try to do whatever. But then I'll do a lot of races over the summer, which I normally like Italian national championships and all those different races. Then now, after today's qualification, now I have to decide whether I'll go to Scotland for the World Championships. So the events are there.
Right.
But what I really enjoy is getting there. It's really that's what I enjoy. The weeks I don't train and I love riding the bike and I love training.
Yeah. So these events kind of become markers to kind of train towards. That also gives you an extra motivation throughout the year, not just like
throughout the year. Then Taiwan's there. I forgot Taiwan in October. So so there's also that.
yeah.
So the calendar is full actually. If you think about it, I didn't think. Now you brought it up. All of a sudden it looks full. Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, there are markers. There are small objectives in them. And cycling on international level is getting harder and harder and harder. It's getting very competitive, and across all age groups. So we really need to be. It's a lot of hard work now.
Yeah,
It's really you have to turn your life upside down today. Even with an amateur race, you were here today. You saw the level.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw the kind of people who are racing, and at least when you come to our age now, we are against ex-pros.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all now in our age category, right? And they have the engine. I mean, how can you be with them, right?
Yeah.
It's hard, but
But you are being with them and doing well. So.
yeah. But what I mean to say is that like these guys get in shape in 2 months,
Right.
because they have the engine, they know what to do with all the years of training and everything. In a couple of months, they get in shape.
Yeah.
It takes me a year to get there, so it's much harder,
Yeah.
So I've seen these people, they have a much more relaxed winter. They tend to chill out a lot more than I will do. But then on the race day, they're sharp. Really?
Yeah. No, yeah, that is very true. And also talking about the international races that we do now, it was you who actually initiated that, got us into coming out of India.
So coming back to the previous question about India,
Yeah.
I would love to see. The thing is, Uzbekistan, right? I'm just bringing it up. I tell the kids that get out. If you want to get better, get out.
Yeah.
Because you have to look at the level on a global because sometimes people I sometimes think I know my friends, and I say this very respectfully, that to be an amateur, sometimes to be an amateur athlete, it's hard everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not. It's just because you live in America, the US, or whatever. It doesn't get easier. It gets really, really hard, and so no one has it.
No one
Has it easier. It needs the same level of sacrifices in terms of your work and lifestyle. Whatever. It's the same thing,
Yeah.
So when I was telling some people today as well, get out, come to Dubai or go to Thailand or go to other places, see how it's racing up, because it brings your level up. Even if the thing is, even if I think that even if I don't win a lot of races, my level is high comparatively because of the people I ride with.
Yeah.
They bring the best out of me,
True.
So I know in my mind, like I had a really difficult ride on Wednesday. I said, if I could survive that,
Yeah.
today was going to be easy.
Yeah.
And that was a training ride.
Right.
So the people around you bring your level up.
Yeah.
So even in India now, you've seen the level going up. It's just because everybody's getting better. So you push each other.
Right.
You've got a lot of other foreign riders who come in and they blast their way away, and then you look at them like Craig. For example, you ride with them for a week, your level goes up.
Yeah.
So exposing yourself to foreign competition is good for your own growth, So I do encourage people.
Yeah, so like some of our team members joined you for GDD
Many times,
in
yeah.
2000, I think starting with 2015
Yeah.
or something like that, and I was fortunate enough to join you in 2019.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you saw that, right?
Yeah. My first race itself, right, was outside India, was in 2017, Tour of Friendship.
Tour of Thailand, yeah.
Thailand. So Arvind actually, who joined you on previous rides, said, "Okay, you got to do this, Venki." I said, "Skipper, I don't have the resources. I'm on a tight budget." So I said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." He was so kind, to
I remember,
make sure that I experienced that. And after that,
Then you went to Bintan as well.
right?
Bintan,
Seeing that, right?
Yeah.
I've decided that at least once in a year I will go out,
Get out and do
and
something.
get out and do
Yeah.
experience it, and that's being in 2019 GDD was one of those, and 2018 I went to Bintan, and 2019 I came to GDD.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Yeah, it's like Nandi. You take Nandi.
Right,
Like people tell me, oh, a sub 30 time on Nandi is good. I'm thinking, if you come to my village, people ride. So everyone's going to do sub 20.
Yeah. I mean, now,
I mean,
nowadays, sub 25 is also not
exactly,
no
yeah.
good
You
there.
remember that,
Yeah,
right? I mean, sub 20, I think it's a 15, 16-minute climb it is.
yeah,
It is like, but then if you see other people doing it,
yeah,
then you, okay,
yeah.
we can do it. Otherwise, you think, the mythical number, we've never seen it before,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah.
No, but talking of racing outside India and participating in events outside India, it's kind of a mind, opener for me. Like it was when I took part in 2011, TFN. This was another kind of, whole dimension kind of opened up to me.
This one.
Racing outside.
Outside,
Yeah,
okay, in
like
general, yeah.
starting with the
Yeah, yeah,
Tour of Friendship in
I get
back
it.
in 2017, right?
Yeah.
So, and every event that I've done so far has been, giving me something or the other,
Yeah.
to take away. Um, be it the level of competition, be it the kind of people that we meet.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, everyone is an amateur,
Yeah, they
and
all have, they
they
all have
all
spouses, kids, work. I mean, nothing is different. Nothing changes.
excellent.
Yeah. We have to meet
And
the bills.
yeah, and you see the
Level
level
is
and
amazing.
see it's like, man, how
Yeah.
are they doing
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
right?
It's amazing.
So
It is. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, I mean, like if you come to Italy, for instance,
Mm.
it is really a factory. It's a really a blue collar job work. I mean,
Right.
it's not. I mean, people work very hard, and we train in the hours of afternoon when people at lunch hours,
Mm.
during siesta, the people sleep, we go ride our bikes. I mean, we don't have those extra hours, like, it's hard, it's a hard work. Cycling is hard. Cycling is a brutal sport, it's really brutal.
Yeah, yeah. So me talking about the events that I did outside and all that is fine, but you have seen, you have ridden in many more places. Like
Yeah, I've had the
you
luck, yeah.
you lived and raced in US, you lived and raced in the Italy, all over the Europe, Uzbekistan,
Brazil.
Brazil,
Yeah.
everywhere, right? So what is the best place to kind of ride in your experience? Or which are the places that you enjoy most to ride and race in?
Well, I mean, so you bring every continent. I've South America. I've raced in South America, Northern America, Europe, Asia, Middle East. I've done all that. Every continent has racing is different. It's even if we're all cycling, the culture of racing tend to differ a little bit. And a classic example is how even Americans take time to settle in Europe with the European way of cycling. It takes time, right? There's a bit of adjustment, mental adjustments, and all that. Uh, I enjoy racing in Europe a lot, even if I don't get a lot of results for very obvious reasons that I'm not good enough. But I enjoy it because it really challenges me. It really gets me out of my comfort zone. Yeah. So if you enjoy that, then obviously it's a great experience. Because from the onset, it's going to be a very very difficult day. And you ask yourself, why am I even doing this? But then you still go week after week after week. Because it makes you a better rider. Um, Oh, now I'm enjoying Dubai in Middle East.
Right.
So it's always changed over the years. This is a new experience now, and I think I'd like to do a lot more than just Dubai. Maybe I'll look into the calendar now
Yeah.
and see what I can do. Maybe build my calendar around peaking for this time of the year because this is my first race in 6 months.
Yeah.
People here are racing every single Saturday, Sunday since last 3 months. So it is hard. But I enjoy. I mean, in terms of courses, I mean, Europe is Europe. I mean, the diversity of Europe also. You got Flanders, you got Strade Bianche, to the Alps, Netherlands. So it's so diverse and
Dolomites.
Dolomites, and everywhere. I mean, just look at the skill you need to excel in any of these places. It's very very difficult, very diverse, and such diversity in Europe alone. So it's that is amazing. Here you kind of more or less know it's going to be wind, flat, whatever.
Yeah.
There is much diverse. South America was great. I enjoyed Brazil a lot. Very very passionate cyclist. big number of women. I was surprised that nearly 30-40% of the peloton was women.
Wow.
I was like blown away. I've never seen that. Even in Europe, I've not seen that. So that was so. Everywhere you learn few things. Canada, the level is very high.
Yeah.
Higher than very high. I mean, I was in British Columbia racing. My God, that was like very high, very hard. Yeah, I mean it's fun. I don't know. It's hard to
Yeah.
summarize everything in
Correct.
a few words.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, but yeah, I've done all these races. It's
It's amazing.
quite a bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
Thailand, and
Yeah, yeah.
like Sri Lanka. I mean, the list is long. Yeah.
Right. Every place has a kind of different dimension.
It is completely different. Yeah.
Brings something the other, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To kind of add to the experience.
It is.
So-
Culture plays a big role, right? It's sports, but then culture is there.
Yeah.
It changes few things, and then you have to see it immediately. If you're sensitive, if you sit around talking to people, you see how different. But then it's bike racing at the end of the day. Once you have the number, you're on the peloton. It's the same thing, and you don't talk much.
Yeah.
It's all elbows.
So over the years, you raced and you trained so much, and injuries are part of the kind of athlete's life, I would think, right? How do you deal? What are some of the serious injuries you have had, and how do you deal with them?
I've never had injuries, so that's I've been very lucky to not have injuries. Like I mean, I don't have any issues. Uh, and the health issues that I have are not related to sport.
Right.
It is more related to just bad luck. Things that I can't control. But even with that, I've realized that sports is helping me overcome them. Like every time I go to see, like I have glaucoma now with my eyes, and I have a liver infection, which is also a huge problem that I deal with. But then every time I visit a doctor, my numbers are great. My numbers are fantastic, and everything seems to be under control, right? And I think that control, and they compliment. They tell me, like Raj, you're doing great. I mean, and I think and I asked them, like, should I keep doing what I'm doing because I get worried that am I pushing myself too much because the sport is. No, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Don't change anything. Just keep doing what you're doing. And I keep doing what I'm doing, and everything seems to be fine. And like I said before, just having these goals makes you disciplined, right? So it keeps my weight in check, my blood pressure in check, and every other little parameters, everything is in control. And so even if I'm not fighting my disease, I'm fighting my sport. It's helping me overcome everything else on the side basis. So the focus isn't there. The focus is like, let's do the sports well, but I'm getting the extra benefits of having having the ability to fight other challenges.
Right.
So yeah, I mean,
Awesome. So you, over the years, when I've seen you as well, like the first time I've seen you, you weren't like this thin.
No, I was not. I think I am lean, not thin.
Yeah. So lean, right?
Lean, yeah.
Yeah. So
Thin people
this
have
lean-
no power. Lean people have power.
Yes. Let me correct that. You weren't this lean, right? So you from that time to now, I guess you lost maybe more than 12 kilos or something. What was your highest weight that you remember to what you are now?
Yeah, I was in the mid 80s.
Mid 80s?
Yeah, mid 80s. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now you're 60?
I'm 60 now. Yeah, my racing weight is 58 actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I rode Taiwan 58.
See, even if you say,
Yeah, but none of this is a thing of a year or two. This is a lifetime.
lifetime,
So, yeah, it's-
right? It did not happen.
No, it didn't
like
happen.
Just
No, it's just
that,
no.
right?
No, I was a big guy. People don't know, but I come from music background, playing music, beers. I was having late.
You were a drummer.
I was a drummer. I was a full-time playing musician.
I still remember. I mean, even when I met you, I was like, you had this flowing.
Yeah, I had long hair. I've always had long cut hair. Then I rode two GDs with big long hair in my helmet, and people think like I'm this woman riding and they're going strong, and they'll come back and see I was a guy. Anyway, yeah, I was a big guy, and that led. I have back issues. I've serious back issues, all chronic, and
because of the drumming.
because of the lifestyle, I mean, no one ever told me what is the right way to sit or do anything. Now I look at my son, I give him every single time I see him something, I tell him. No one did that for me.
Yeah.
So I wish someone told me back in the day, Raj, do this, do that. I would have followed. I listened. But no one did it, and I somehow things didn't go well for my back. And coming back to when I began cycling mostly because I couldn't play drums anymore.
Right.
My left leg was done. Sitting and playing, and I couldn't do it anymore. And I remember going to a neurosurgeon, a spine surgeon, and he wanted me to have a surgery straight away. And I was not even 30 years old. I was very young. I was 28, 29. And then I was like, I'm not doing this, So got into riding, whatever. But I'll tell you one thing. From the day I took up the bike till today, weight has never been a concern for me. In the sense, it has never been a goal for me. Like, I should lose weight, I should eat this, I should do that. I mean, I have it, I do it, but I'm not obsessed with it. And so my weight loss has just come along.
Right.
Yeah, has just come
As
along.
a result of the lifestyle change.
Yeah, just riding and wanting to get better with riding results in you eating better food, better nutrition, better things. And that results in weight loss. It's not been my focus. My focus has been to be a better bike rider.
Right.
And all these are extra benefits that have come along, So I've lost weight, yeah. So last time, maybe when we rode together, I was like 10, 12 kilos heavier. Now for the last 5, 6 years, my weight has been very stable because how much can a man lose?
Right.
I'm not going to disappear, right?
Yeah.
So 58, 60 is where I'm now. I tend to go to 62 this time of the year, winter, and I don't mind it. It's a good thing to add some extra weight because the seasons are long, and and I don't want to be. And also, I'm getting to an age where it is important to have a bit more muscle weight,
Right.
Because that gets harder to build. So I'm focusing a lot more in the gym now, and gym automatically results in more weight gain. It doesn't matter. You go to the gym, you put on weight. It is what it is, and then bike riding makes you lose muscles as well. So it's become a big part of me. But my weight has never been an issue for me.
Right.
I don't lose sleep over weight.
Right. So then what is your nutrition like in a day?
Yeah, even with nutrition, I mean, I eat clean. I eat very, very clean. At least I try most of the time. It doesn't matter. I travel a lot, right? Like even now for this race, I brought my own breakfast and everything, So I'm kind of I watch what.
Yeah, you always do that.
I always do that,
Yeah.
I kind of just I like to have things under control.
All of us would build, whatever breakfast buffet at the hotels.
No, I don't do those. No, I remember Thailand also. I don't do it because I never know, Anyway, what I mean to say is that, I don't follow a particular diet. There are all these folks who want to do a diet and a diet and diet. And I think it's a very strange thing because we're not talking about people who are ill. We're talking about normal people, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like normal people.
Yeah.
You get into a diet because because you couldn't do what was normal. And normal went away. It led to certain things, and now you need to have a certain diet to get back. But they never give normal a chance again.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It has to be some sort of a strategy, some sort of but normal is like, why do normal, right?
Yeah.
In my case, I'm still doing normal, which is a well-balanced diet, a sustainable diet. It doesn't stress me out that I ate this bit more or that bit more, or, I just eat a very balanced diet, and it's easy to sustain. And I always believe one thing, anything that is sustainable gives results over a longer period of time, because I see people jumping from diet to diet, and then every time they go back to, it just doesn't work somehow, I mean, it gives you results on a shorter time, But if you want a longer term, it has to be sustainable, right?
Unless you can sustain
It's
whatever you're
hard.
doing, the results, if you change that, the results also will
Change, everything change. And the thing is, it's like the faster you get to a result, it takes the same amount of time to lose it as well.
Yeah.
Right. So even if it's like for me, like you said, I was 84, right? When you and I met, I was in the 70. Now
Yeah.
I'm 60. If everything goes wrong with me in the next, I'm still not going to get to 80.
Yeah,
Right? Because it's been such a long time that I've been losing weight. I'll put a couple of kilos.
Yeah.
Right? It's still there. I don't go out of control, right?
Correct.
So that is helps with sustainable
Right.
concept of nutrition, whatever that you want to. I don't have a name for it.
Correct,
See, that's why it's not fancy, right?
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense, you know. I always struggle with it because I'm not disciplined with, my eating and stuff. So when I look at you or something like that, it kind of starts me thinking like, this is something that is easy to do, that is sustainable. You should be able to do if you
Yeah, as an automatic thing, it's like going to bed, doing your little habits. You don't need. Doesn't have to be. It shouldn't be something you should be losing your mind on.
Exactly.
It should be something that is okay. Small steps, small. The problem is people are not patient. You need to be patient with this with the process. You need to believe in it, be patient, and be disciplined. And I think, a diet. It's the problem with diet is that it's stressful, because it's rigorous, right? It almost becomes like an obsession, so it becomes hard.
Yeah.
Then you make a mistake, then you hard to forgive yourself. Oh, I made a mistake, now I have to fix it, or whatnot. I had to, I don't have this issue.
Mentally, you beat yourself up.
Yeah, exactly.
Caring and all.
Exactly. Like even like for this race, for example, I mean, it was a 2-hour race. We just had like I told Rasul, let's have a plate of pasta and that's it. What are you going to eat? I mean, for a race that is 2 hours long. I mean, then people just go out on a buffet dinner and no, and then it's like a self-sabotage, for the event. So yeah, it's all Thailand, for example, I was on white rice, just boiled white rice. What can you wrong with white rice? It's a race, I don't. So it keeps the stomach, everything under control. But I've learned a lot from my Italian friends. When it comes to diet, I learned a lot from them. Then I did a couple of camps with professional riders in California and everything. It was all nutrition based.
Right.
I see what is, again, there was never this obsession that you see among amateurs and general what is going on, you know what I'm saying, right? None of that. Things a bit more,
Makes sense. Makes sense. Since you kind of mentioned about the weight training, being important. So what does your weight training routine look like in general?
So to me, I personally think that as a masters athlete, I'm 49, turning 50 next year. To me, it's more important how much time I spend on the gym now more than my bike.
Yeah.
Really. If I want to be riding my bike 10 years from now, it's what I do in the gym that matters more than what I do on the bike. It's simple. Yeah, it is just, it's we are on the wrong side of so you have to have muscles, So weight training is becoming more and more important in my program. Before it used to be like, the season's done in October. I'll take a couple of week break, then begin the gym, and then by January I'm done. Now I intend to do it through the year.
Right.
I'm going to do it all through the year. It'll be less rigorous. This time of the year, I'm doing a lot more, which is why I was saying I'm carrying a bit more weight.
Yeah.
But I intend to continue with weight training / strength training through the year. Just have to be very careful how I plan it. But I think it's going to be, how we adapt ourselves. So I'm in a phase now that I think I'm going to be doing more weight and strength training as I go into my next phase of athletic life,
Right.
Yeah.
So is there like any cycling specific stuff that you do?
No, it's not.
General.
It's yeah, it is because cycling is an endurance sport, right? It's rep based, right? So generally I tend to start with like very low weight, high reps. When I say high reps, you're doing 35, 40 reps of each, so very low weight, high rep. And then from there, I do that for weeks and weeks and weeks. And then I go into big weights and very small reps, 5, 6 reps, that's power.
Right.
That's where your power is coming from. And then I tend to finish it off with explosive exercises, like different kinds of plyometrics, So you adapt, you change through the program, how you do your weight training. But it's very important. I mean, but I think I'll be doing much more, much more. In fact, even now, I'm staying in Dubai now, and for the next 10 days, I have my gym gear with me.
Yeah.
So my next hotel has a gym, and I actually will be going to the gym because I don't want to take a break from it. Even if it's just a day or two, I don't want to miss it. I'll go to the gym. I'll do my 30 minutes. So lunges, squats, deadlifts, step, all those routine things.
How many days a week do you?
3 days a week is what I tend to do in the off season.
Yeah.
And then now I think I'll try to do like twice a week. I really have to see. I'm self-coached pretty much, so I have to listen to myself. So I don't know what I'm getting into.
Yeah.
So I listen to see how my body behaves because if it starts eating into in my bike because it hurts. Gym hurts.
Yeah.
Gym really hurts. I mean, you can't do gym and the next day you're doing intervals.
Yeah.
It's hard work, So it has to be well planned in the program. So I'm curious to see how it works. I've never done this. It's a new thing, right? So we will see how it goes. But coming back to strength, just last one thing. The 2 years when the gyms were closed for COVID, right? That is when I realized how much power I lost because of not going to the gym. I did ride. I rode 40,000 kilometers. I rode 20,000 every year. The only thing that was missing was the gym. And I saw my power go down. I saw my power go down, back aches. I was just not feeling good. And I think that was the fact that I didn't go to the gym.
All right. Yeah, it makes sense. I'm trying to get into that routine as well.
I say it. I see this all the time.
Yeah.
All our friends, I tell them, "Oh, why are you
very
guys not going to the gym?" And at least now that we are in the mid-40s and whatever, it's very critical. Yeah.
Definitely.
My wife, I tell her all the time. She's in the gym now.
Yeah.
She's always now a couple of times a week. She's in the gym. She understands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Important. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing, Raj. It's been fantastic, chatting with you. So much, over the years, learned so much from you, and it is always a pleasure talking to you and observe all the.
No, it's all fun. It's all fun. I just wish that I could just travel more to India. I kind of just
You should.
it's been bad luck. Even now I came to Uzbekistan hoping that I was going to be closer to India. Then the COVID happened, but I really I enjoy it. But I know people. All I want to say is that I mean well. With things I say, I mean well. It's never a bad intention. If I don't mean well, I keep my mouth shut. Right? If there's one takeaway.
Yes.
All right.
Sure. But what are some of the tips that you would give to kind of close the session?
Cycling related trips?
Yeah, cycling, life, whatever you want to say.
Well, my life has been interesting, my life, the thing about life is that, people only hear the good stories.
Yeah.
Right? And people often tell me, I'm blessed, my life is going fine, and people tell me, oh, Raj, you're lucky and all that. The word always is lucky,
Yeah.
And I just don't believe in it. I don't believe in luck. I believe that you don't know how much risk I've taken as well. Just because I don't talk about them doesn't mean they don't exist, So what I tell people is that do take risk. If you want to go somewhere, take risk. The highest, the good achievers, the people who are the successful are people who have risked something, and because otherwise it's not the same template you're following. So get out and follow your dreams and believe in it, and it's life. You have to enjoy it, live it. I got so much more to do. There is so much more I want to achieve, and there are so many more dreams, ambitions, whatnot that drives me. And the day you stop not thinking is the day you die, So you must have something to drive you. And then when it comes to sports, it's the same thing. Believe in it. Enjoy what you're doing. Don't look at other people. Find love in your sport. There's never a bad day for me on the bike. There's never a bad day. There's always a good day. Be healthy. listen to yourself. Sports gives a lot back to you. Lot back, and it isn't. We were talking about Russell earlier. It isn't about how long you live; it's how you live, right? I mean, I don't want to be sitting around doing nothing. So if I'm going to be here, I want purpose, right? So it's those things. Just make life worth it. Yeah.
That is a fantastic way to end it. Russell wants to say something?
Yeah. If you want to do something and you can afford to do it, do it.
Get a corona, bro. He's asking buy more bikes. Anyway, thanks, Venki. Thanks a lot. Okay, I hope people enjoy listening.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Fantastic.
Cheers, man.
Thank you.
Cheers.
That was my conversation with Rajesh aka BabaVelo. I hope you enjoyed that. If you are enjoying these podcasts and are finding them useful, please consider supporting the podcast by subscribing to it on YouTube as well as on your favorite podcasting app. It really helps. Thanks again for your continuous support. See you next week with another guest.